Chapter 47. Homeward. In the desert, without water, it felt like the life was being drained out of us. We all sat idly, completely at a loss. Suddenly, we heard Anlaman cry out loudly, "The messenger of Allah!" Not far from us, on a sand slope, appeared a white shadow. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me because of hunger and thirst, so I quickly rubbed them and looked again. It was the white camel we had encountered before our journey to the western night city. It was leisurely strolling along a sand dune and slowly heading west. Anlaman was overjoyed and so excited that he was tripping over his words. The appearance of the white camel in the cursed black sand desert meant that the ancient curse had been lifted, and Allah had reclaimed this desert. Following Allah's messenger, we could surely find water. I didn't know if Anlaman's words were true, but since we were out of options and his previous claims seemed to hold promise, we decided to trust the presence of the white camel and hoped it could lead us to water. Without delay, we organized the camels and followed behind the white one. The large white camel walked unhurriedly under the scorching sun. After 3 to 4 hours and passing a long sand ridge, a small water pit appeared. Surrounding the water pit were some plant shrubs, and though the water wasn't clear, likely containing minerals, it was drinkable for animals, but not immediately safe for human consumption. The camels eagerly started to drink, while Shirley Yang found some disinfectant tablets. She first filtered the water through a purifier, then added the disinfectant, before finally distributing the treated water for everyone to drink. The water hole might be a tributary of the Zidu River that emerged due to the nightly movements of the desert sands, bringing water that was close to the surface. Anlaman, however, believed this was the best proof that the curse had been lifted. Previously, the desert didn't have any water visible on the surface, so he proclaimed this water hole to be a miracle from Allah. By the water hole, we ignited a fire and toasted some naan. I didn't share with anyone the sensation of being held by a ghost while climbing to the mountaintop, because after being tormented by the corpse flower, I couldn't discern between reality and illusion anymore. Not just that last incident, even the entirety of our experiences in Jingjue City and the Ghost Cave seemed to blur the lines between what was real and what was mere fantasy. As Fatty and I discussed our experiences in Zaglama Mountain, it felt akin to recounting a suffocating nightmare. Fatty commented, "That damn dog-tail flower was really powerful. It's possible none of our experience actually happened and it was all an illusion conjured by the flower." Shirley Yang, who had been mostly silent, interjected, "No. If we reflect on it now that we're out of danger, the characteristics of the corpse flower's illusions were quite distinct. It could only utilize memories that already existed in our minds and couldn't create anything we had never seen before. The Queen's sarcophagus, the Ghost Cave, the Prophet's tomb chamber, and the prophecies were all real. We had also seen the black snakes before. The lure to turn on each other through the stone paintings, the ones on the first layer were the true ones because we had seen those prophecies. Hence the corpse flower could only conjure illusions on the second layer." I agreed with Shirley Yang. Great minds think alike. I had the same thoughts but was unsure, so I never expressed them. Should we now discuss how to get out of the desert? Shirley Yang suggested. This is where we need old Anlaman's expertise. He's like a living map of the desert. Let's hear his opinion first. Seeing that the boss had given an order, Anlaman drew a few lines in the sand. This area represented our current general location. Heading south would take us to the Naya ruins, which were very far away, with nothing but desert in between. Even with an adequate supply of water, reaching Naya wasn't guaranteed. Eastward lay Lopnur, with the desert on one side and endless stretches of Gobi on the other. North was the direction we came from, towards the ancient city of Shia, but trekking back the way we came was no easy feat either. Assessing the situation, it seemed that heading east, south, or north were all difficult options. The only viable direction was west, following the course of the Darim River, the largest inland river in the desert. From our location, a swift journey could bring us to the confluence of the Darim, Yarkand, and Hotan rivers in about 10 days. From there, it would be easier. We could replenish our water supply and continue west for another 6 or 7 days until we were near Aksu, where there were troops stationed in oil fields. We could seek their assistance. Water, our most pressing need, had been replenished enough to last us about 10 days. We also had some food reserves. In the desert, water is more precious than food. If we ran out of food, we could still rely on the camels. It took us an entire day just to filter and reserve a small amount of water from the sand nests before we set off as planned. Along the way, we endured hunger and thirst, relentless wind and sun, traveling by dawn and resting by night. Finally, on the 12th day, we reached the Darim River and pressed on westward. On the third day, we encountered oilfield workers out hunting yellow sheep, and at that point, Professor Chun was nearly at his last breath. The feeling of clawing one's way out of the desert depths is not something easily understood by those who live in regular environments. From that experience, I developed a habit. Every time I drink water at home, no matter how large the cup, I always finish it in one go, leaving not a drop behind. The fate of Professor Chin, the real secrets lurking within the bottomless ghost hole, the whereabouts of the ancient saints tribe, the mystery of Shirley Yang's lineage, as well as the new adventures of Wu Bai Yi and Fatty, will all continue to unfold in magnificent detail in the first book of the Ghost Blows Out the Light series, Volume 2, The Dragon Ridge Caves.